All right, so my speech is titled sort of like a Cliff Notes to me. It's going to be my icebreaker speech. So, thank you Toastmasters of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and about how I came to be in front of you tonight. Oftentimes when you're part of a new group, the leader will have everyone go around the room and make you say something unique about yourself. Unless that new group is AA, but I digress. For me, the unique point is that for the first 5 years of my life, I lived in polar bear territory. And so now, contrary to popular belief, all of Canada is not polar bear territory. It's only the northern half or so, the area that's called the tundra. And so up there, I grew up on a Cree Nation reserve. And that was on the coast of James Bay, kind of where James Bay meets Hudson's Bay. I have a little sort of image to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And so, while neither of my parents are Native American, they worked in jobs such as that were deemed essential services, and they were allowed to live on the reservation. So my mom was a dentist and my dad was a teacher. And for reference, just how far north that is, the lowest temperature ever recorded there was negative 59 Fahrenheit, and typical January day is a balmy minus 9 Fahrenheit. So, exactly. Growing up there, I experienced a slightly different life than you would in many other places. I did dog sledding, snowmobiling, attending powwows, going to school in the actual Cree language, to name a few. And so some of the funnest times, memories from those times, was when I would go fishing with my dad. And so that entailed him taking us in his Forerunner, and we would go off-roading into the bush, and he'd because again, I was only probably 3 to 5 years old, I would be on his back in a child backpack, and we'd spend the day out, and he'd be fishing, and then essentially we'd go off-roading, and so that was pretty enjoyable to me. And to this day, oftentimes when I go back home, hiking and fishing is something that I do with my dad all the time, so that's something I really cherish. And then when about 5 years old, my mom decided to change her career. We moved to suburbia in southern Ontario, and I remember being amazed at how warm and sunny it was in comparison to where I was before. And according to my mother, before the first day of school, I asked her, "Mom, are there going to be any other Cree kids like me when I go to school?" I just like to make that point because it goes to show you how much your upbringing plays into your self-identity, even as an adult. And so now, fast forwarding many years, many of you already know I'm a fourth-year medical student, and that's one of the reasons why I'm in front of you today in Baltimore City. And now, while that is my passion, being in medicine, it's not my sole identity, so I just want to talk about 3 other things that you probably don't know about me. And so those 3 things I'm going to talk about are athletics, music, and technology. And so for athletics, I've always been on sports teams, one type or another. Being from Canada, I played hockey from about 5 years old till I went off to university, competing across the province, sometimes in the United States as well. And with pretty good success, the highest rank we ever achieved was my team was the best in Ontario at one point. So I'm proud of that. And today, I've refined my taste in sports into doing triathlons and rock climbing, which is slightly different from before, but that's what I found the most enjoyable at this age, at least. Triathlons because it combines 2 of my favorite sports, which is running and cycling, and one of my least favorite, which is swimming. And for the last 4 years in medical school, I've only been able to run, haven't been able to do the other 2 aspects, but I look forward to getting back to that in the future. And rock climbing is simply fun and can be whatever you want to make it, so either easy or difficult. In terms of music, early in my undergrad, I started to attend concerts. These weren't rock concerts or rap concerts or country concerts. These were electronic dance music concerts, or what's known now as EDM. And so this was a little bit before what was currently known as EDM, which is like in commercials and radio and everything that everyone now knows about it. So this was before its wide popularity. And so a roommate and I decided that after a few concerts, why can't we DJ? And so, so we did. And we essentially rode the dubstep craze for about 4 years. The peak of that, I opened with my buddy for Skrillex at one point, and wow. Some of the younger people may know who that is. Last time I DJ'd at a club was about 2 years ago, and I do hope to be able to get back to that as well as writing music now that med school is hopefully winding down in the brief time before residency. And then finally, in terms of technology, it can be summarized basically as that I'm pretty nerdy. I regularly play online video games, not Fortnite, if anyone's asking. I keep up with the latest computer trends, cell phone design technology. Currently using the Essential Phone PH1, which is this one, famous for being the first phone that ever had a cutout in the screen, even before the iPhone 10. I also like to dip my feet into the world of high-end audiovisual as much as my budget will allow, but I'll elaborate those in some future speech. So in summary, I've found that life is essentially a collection of experiences, and you can have either a limited amount or a plethora, and I would argue that many people say you can't take money with you when you're dead. I would say a better way of looking at life is that you can't go back and live the life that you wanted to live, and so saying yes to different experiences is something that I've made a big part of my life in, say, the last 10 years. So thank you, everyone.